Yeah, don't you love your employees like their family?
No.
This is can you say that?
No. Later I'll establish myself, yes.
This is a taboo F word.
Yeah.
Family in corporate.
Welcome back to Wise and Shine. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut.
And I'm Dawn, SG Budget Babe.
Right.
Today we have two really handsome guests with us on this show.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wait.
Don't
Must be
angkat,
nice to guess.
angkat bola must control.
I'm gonna start with the younger one first.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Chris from Honey Money SG. I run a YouTube channel mainly. Over 20,000 subscribers talking about personal finance, credit cards, early retirement, and all that stuff. I also have a Telegram community. If you like to join, it's over 8,000 members talking about the same stuff. And there are so many enthusiasts on this scene. So yeah, if you're willing, come and join us.
Oh, nice. I'm Anthony. I'm a host on TFC Market Updates. We are rebranding it.
We're rebranding.
We are finding a new direction.
We'll come back.
We will come back with something new and different.
Yes. But great. So today we're gonna spend some time to talk about this hot topic, right? Should you bring your whole self to work, right? The main word is whole, right? And I think this is a whole movement in itself already, right? Like being authentic, being yourself. And because of this, like being authentic and being yourself idea, it pushes into different realms, right? Like whether you should be yourself in a relationship, at home, and then now like work, right? So do you bring your whole self to work? And as a manager, I was like, don't. So please don't bring your whole self to work. You got too much rubbish at home, right? Like I need you to tolerate a bit, right? Which also from a manager's viewpoint is like, so how much do I need to handle, about you, right? When you bring yourself to work, right? So yeah, this is today's discussion. Should you bring your whole self to work? Anyone?
My view is no.
Hey,
no.
boomer talk. Today we're becoming a boomer show, right?
Okay, I will take the other side.
No, you don't have to. You
No,
can
but
admit
I mean,
that.
okay, again, definitional problems, right?
Yes,
Which I
yes,
love.
please.
You don't need to bring your whole self to work, but I think you need to be authentic and you need to be comfortable, right? That is where the genesis is. It's not that, my parents sick, I don't want to work, therefore I just don't
I don't
work.
feel like working.
I don't feel like working.
I need a mental health break.
That is okay. Maybe people no,
Have
mental
you
health breaks are real.
experienced that already?
I want a mental health break. Nobody has given it to me.
No. I don't feel like mental health breaks are wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
I feel like the intensity and how do we define what is a requirement for mental health break?
Where
That is
do
the
you
floppy
reach
part.
that stage, right?
Yes, that's the part
then
that
you
is
go, okay,
that is
fine,
being
you need a
jostled.
break.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that is where this whole movement needs to kind of a branding problem, right? It's about, when you get to work, you need to be comfortable, you need to know who you are, and that's when you perform, and that's when in corporate speak you generate the correct culture.
Well, very corporate speak.
I know.
Yes.
I love it.
Like rebranding.
I'm learning how to be a manager also.
Yes, very good. We know you circle high boomer show. What do you think?
So my take is that you shouldn't, right? Because we all have to put
I love to take.
we have to put on a show, right? That's why I think on one show you say that it's a performance review. You are trying to 表演.
Yeah. Try to tell you.
Wow, I really listen to the episode.
Really, performance review, right? Perform lah. You never perform how to review, right?
Yeah, ultimately, it's your work character versus your at-home character, right? Because you're trying to put your best self at work. Like you're trying to show that you're professional. You can handle stress. You can manage many different tasks. But at home, it's a totally different persona. You're in front of kids, your family. You need to show a more loving side. But maybe in your work, you need to show that you have more tenacity. You're more vigorous. You are more authoritative. Maybe you are a manager. In the way you handle things are quite different from the way you handle things at home. So I understand that you should not bring your whole self to work, because that may put you in situations where you are not able to distinguish your own character, right? It's like an act.
But why don't managers like carry the same level of love at home and at work?
Yeah, don't you love your employees like their family?
No.
This is can you say that?
No. Later I'll establish myself, yes.
This is a taboo F word.
Yeah.
Family in corporate.
Wow!
I love it. Hey, give me that.
Entered the era of
I love
family
it.
now. Taboo F
No,
word.
he defined corporate in the corporate world, right?
Yeah,
So, and I agree, right? So, but please elaborate like the taboo F word. In
Why
corporate.
the corporate is not your family is
Yeah,
because
yeah.
a family will not abandon you if you're not performing well enough.
You said that the other time, right? So great.
Yeah, I heard it somewhere. Maybe it's your show, maybe it's some other
Confirm
thing.
lah. It's our show. You heard it first on Wise and Shine. Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it is very different from a family to a corporate structure. So you have to really distinguish that what your personality is at work may be fundamentally different, and you cannot mix these two up. Otherwise, you may have some identity crisis. You're not able to manage your workers, and they won't listen. Your subordinates, they won't listen to you if you are too loving. You are not able to set that expectations for them. Whereas for your family, you're more understanding. You know that there are different things that you cannot really control. And that's my point. You cannot really bring the true authenticity to work.
Then counterpoint would be, do you then want your teammates to bring their authenticity to work? Because from a managerial point of view, right, the more accurate the information I get, right, the easier for me to manage. You know what I mean? If the person come in and 表演, right, I better be smart enough to sniff that this is a performance, right? If not, then if I don't have accurate information, how can I make the best decision? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it okay for your guys to come in as a performance also, and everything is just a performance?
Right. If they are professional in their work, right, I don't really care how they are in their personal life. To me, work is work.
So if they're outside, do their thing,
Yeah,
it's fine.
As
Right?
long whatever is within the office and
Yeah.
outside the office, two different matters. That's the point. I
And
think
relationship at the office, okay?
this one gray area. Hard to say.
Not my area.
Not what you don't laugh, don't. Like hold hand, like after discussions.
No
it
experience.
okay?
Cannot comment. Open to the floor, what do you think of such personal
Fair.
relationships?
I like what you just said. Yeah.
I want to jump in first before you go, because I know you sure say a lot of rubbish.
Come on.
Science has shown, right, that even for children, they segmentize themselves this way.
Yes.
So I think it's natural if we segmentize, and if you choose, I think there are two groups of people. One who are like, I want to be fully authentic myself, my 100% wholesome authentic self. What you get from me at the office and anywhere else is all the same. Versus the other person whereby, no, if you know me from my work, it's a very different me, than if you were my friend or my family. Yeah, I think it's fair and we should respect that divergence there. Because even as children, how many of y'all as parents have witnessed, you go for your parent-teacher meeting and the teacher tells you, this boy or your son, your daughter is the and then you're like,
really, man?
Not like that.
you're talking,
Not like
you're talking
that.
about your kid, is it? Because I had that from the first PTM that I attended. I'm like, you just mixed up my kid with someone else. And then as I went to read more and find out from more parents, I realized it's very common. Right?
It is. Lying is the first skill sets kids pick up. I mean, I talk to a lot of mental health psychologists and early childhood psychologists. They tell me that's the first thing that kids pick up, and it's for survival, right? And it's extremely important, right? So learning how to lie well is it's a must.
Okay, there's a more positive take to it, which is that, kids feel safer at home, so they let their guard down. They can go and have their tantrums, be their ugliest, most hateful self, but they know
Very
because
hateful.
they feel secure that their parents and family will still love
Hey,
them.
your image collapsing. Very hard to sell
Are
already.
you talking from experience, like yourself as a kid or your own kid?
My own kids. Very hateful.
You want to share? You want to share a bit?
I have a lot of anger in me. No, but I mean, bringing back on topic, I think that's why you have to be a bit authentic at work. Because yes, they learn how to that different contexts need different behavior and there's different expectations on them. That's fine. That's a life skill everybody needs to learn, right? It's like how I talk to Ang Mo, I have a different not accent. I talk differently than how I talk to the uncle at the
Accent
kopitiam.
lah.
No, it's code switching, right? It's slightly different. But I think where it gets to is that you have certain fundamental values to yourself, right? And certain fundamental principles to yourself. And I feel, and maybe this is getting me in trouble as a manager at work, that you have to behave consistently with that.
Yes.
Right? So, if I decide that on a very personal level, I don't want to be an asshole, then I should not be an asshole at work. Right? I mean, there are other, factors like, maybe the company wants you to be an asshole, or like you scream and shout to make an ad, so people scare you, people are scared of you, whatever, right? But, fundamentally, there has to be things that, give you direction in your life, that you are the type of person you want to be. And that bleeds into you, whether you are at home with a family, or whether you are managing people, or whether you are reporting to people. Right? And I think, fine, that doesn't advantage you in every scenario, but hey, it's important, right?
Yeah.
Because without that, who are you?
Yeah, fair. I think that's fair, but I also think it is fair to be strategic about it.
Yeah, of course.
Right, in the sense that
you must scold people when there's value to it.
Yeah, no, and if let's say for a lot of you listening, maybe you're a mid manager, you still got bigger managers on top, right, or something, or you're climbing the corporate line. So on some level, you cannot deny that, right? There is a corporate culture in whatever organization you are in. Right, and whether is it like openly stated, which usually is not, right, or whether is it like you must sense it, like what the hell is going on, who gets promoted, what type of people gets to move up, you need to sense it, right? And then once you sense it, then the question is, do you want to perform or not? Do you want to fit into this thing such that you become a selected individual to move up? And is that you? And if it's not you, is it okay? Right? If it's not you, is okay to you, then okay lah. Then you go in and just do your shenanigans. You don't need to bring your whole self to work. Right? But if you are uncomfortable because you are prioritizing other aspect of life, which I get it, over different phases, you will prioritize different things. And maybe at this point in time, you want to be fully authentic. What makes you so sure that the company must take you at your fully authentic self?
Then you get prepared to be fired.
Yeah, then you must be prepared to get fired, right? Because if I cannot take like you as an authentic self, then sorry, man. Like you gotta go, right? Like and that's just the basics of how things work. It depends on which organization you're in, which team you play in, right? And all that, right? But I do understand the value of bringing, more of yourself to work, because sometimes if you kind of like cut up too much, right? This is my professional self, and then this is like my personal life, which I think is a bit more popular maybe in our parents' generation, or maybe some of us, we do have that also lah, right? These are my professional image, this is my personal life. You don't disturb my personal life. But sometimes as a manager, I can tell you, I can very clearly sense it, that it is your personal life that's causing the problem in your professional work. So are you giving me the authority to then dig into your personal life? You know what I mean? Because if I cannot dig into your personal life to sort that out, then how am I going to sort out your professional element of your work, right? Like maybe last time your output is like that, right? 10x, right? Now your output is 5.
Yeah, but you could also argue that is overstepping one's boundaries.
Exactly. So then that's the discussion. Like how much of yourself, or like should you then bring the whole individual to work, right? So there are two angles to this, right? One big angle is like if you are the one managing and you are the one being managed, right? I think that power dynamics does play into how much you want to come into the office. Even as a manager, do I really want to bring my whole self to the office? Although I want you to bring your whole self to the office. You know what I mean? Or maybe I don't want you to bring your whole self to the office, but actually I want to bring a lot of myself to the office. You know what I'm saying? So that whole friction is so weird. So
I would also argue that every one of us is multifaceted.
Of course.
And the truth is, we talk about bringing your whole self to the office, but how much of your whole self does your family even see?
Fair.
And I think all of us can attest here as kids, we've kept a lot of secrets from our parents.
Of course.
Our parents probably have never seen certain sides of us that really exemplify in school or at work. And we just don't show that. So is that they're not being authentic at home, where home is supposed to be the safe harbor? No, I think it's just that different occasions, different situations call for it. Like there's no need for people to see me, being very emotional at work, because it doesn't do anything for me unless me being emotional is meant to help my fellow peers or the people I'm managing realize that, hey, I understand what you're going through. I can empathize. We're all humans after all. Then it plays a function. But otherwise, then there's no need for me to bring all of that to work, especially if I am capable of managing it myself. Yeah, but I think the person, like what you said, like wanting to step in as a manager, right? The person must also be open to admitting Yeah, admission is the first change, right?
Yes,
They must
yes.
admit that, yes, let's say my relationship breakup is causing a problem at work.
Yes.
And it is affecting my output. I'm going to let you know. I think I can sort it out myself, but I need your help in maybe assigning me less tasks during this period. And I think that sort of conversations help.
Important.
I actually had a case like that when I think in either my second or third job, where I went through a breakup and I was very affected. So I actually told my manager privately over lunch. I said, because she asked me like, hey, I noticed that you seem to suddenly, I don't know if I'm thinking too much, but you seem to suddenly well up and I'm just concerned. And I said, yes.
Great manager plus 5 points.
Yeah.
That's great, man, because
she was very in
she's
tune with it.
speaking very small details. I mean, you don't well up in public, right? That is called wailing. You will do it at like your office corner down there, right? Then you try to hide, put makeup. It's normal, but that's all part of segregation. And she can pick it up. That is plus 5 points. Great manager.
And she opened up the door for you to speak freely about
Yes,
it.
and let you talk about it's great
so she
manager.
created
Love
like
it.
a safe space for me to talk
Yes,
about it by
yes.
bringing me out to a private lunch, no other colleagues around.
Yeah, she never
I wouldn't
public shame you. That is great.
Exactly,
Yes.
I wouldn't feel like someone else was judging me. And after I opened up to her and I told her about this situation, I said like I don't need her to intervene. I can probably handle it myself, but I just need time. And what she did later on was not to intervene, and she didn't keep asking me, hey, how you get over the breakup already or not.
Oh.
But what she did was, in fact, during meetings, she would step in for me and speak up, so I didn't have to talk so much because I didn't feel like, what if my voice breaks because I'm thinking I'm emotional. So that helped. And I think like this is where the line can get blurred, but it also depends on the situation, right? Like if you're young and you go through that, then you probably need to bring that to the office, be open with your manager to get them to help you along. But if you're older and wiser, this is like your 10th breakup, you don't feel anything already, then no need what, right? Does the world need to know that you just broke up? No, don't need. Doesn't affect my work. I'm chill.
Over already.
Yeah, so I think we need to embrace that. We're all multifaceted. We bring different parts of ourselves to all different scenarios that we're in. Like, who really gets 100%? Nobody.
Fair.
I mean, I kind of agree with that. I just don't know whether I'll be that kind of manager. I might have gone, I know it's a tough time for you, but I also
buckle up, guys.
I also cannot let you just coast for the rest of the year. I don't know how long it will take for you to get over the breakup, right? So I can't just let you coast until you feel like it and then you come back to work. I also have things to do. I also have my reports and my deliverables, and I do expect a certain minimum. Right, there has to be a minimum that you still fulfill. And actually, if we are very blunt about it, I don't know if, let's say, I want to put you into a better position or to promote you and all that, if because of this you would be the first choice.
Exactly,
right? Because
exactly.
Sure, this affects you, it affects everybody, that's fine, but there needs to be a certain minimum standard that you can always keep up, right? And you need to be able to keep up with the pace, you need to be able to perform. And nobody's saying that you should do work at the exclusion of everything else. Okay, no, some bosses say that, but not me. I know some bosses who say that and they pay fantastically for it. But then at the end of the day, fine, you need to draw that balance. That's fine. As an employer, as a manager, I also need to be able to draw that balance, right? And that might mean that I select different type of people.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So, but then that becomes a problem because then you disadvantage certain types of people when you create a certain image or create a certain type that you always employ, right? Which is why people think finance people always type A, because that's how they have kind of self-selected. So maybe
the
everybody,
profession kind of requires more of it, lah.
correct. So maybe everybody should cry at work, right? Then everybody's equally penalized, everybody's fine. And then we get there and it's all okay now.
Yeah, so I think that's important to recognize also, right? That your manager is not your friend. So even if you choose to be 100% in front of your manager, we need to reconcile. Like when I was telling my manager, I knew it was not me seeking emotional support from her. I did not expect her to be like, sayang, it's okay. But more of like letting her know.
Scared if they sayang.
If it was a male manager, even more scared.
Control.
But the objective of sharing and revealing that side was to help her understand why I was underperforming and to give me some time. I was still showing up for work, but to give me some time to get myself back to normal. And then I'll be up and running again. So the objectives are very different. And I think also with what you said, right? We have to, as if you're in the position as a subordinate, we need to recognize that the manager has to make a decision for the company as well. Yeah, so they will inevitably weigh the personal, oh yes, I feel sorry for you. But yeah, at the same time, company has certain targets and KPIs to hit.
Yeah.
And that will inevitably affect the decision they
It's
make
true.
when the subordinate opens up to them. So
It's true. It's true.
wholesomely.
It's true. And I mean, you gotta build up goodwill. You gotta get good results. Then these doors are open up to you, lah. Right? If
Exactly.
you have no.
like you're a high performer and then that happens.
Oh,
It's fine
okay,
lah. Go,
3
go.
months sabbatical, paid one, go.
Right? You just start the job, fresh
Yeah.
grad, then the second week will come in like this.
Sorry, bang.
bye.
Probation fail,
Yeah,
I tell you. Like-
we noticed that
so-
you might not be a good cultural fit for the
Yeah, probation
organization.
fail. Extend your probation. Man, it's just problematic. You know? I think a lot of people don't realize these things, right? Okay,
Yeah, so we need to play the game right also, right? Like
It's true,
the
it's
more certain we are, the more cemented our position is, the more vulnerable we can be, the more we can open up.
Yeah.
But if you're new and starting out, then is there really a need to want to be so authentic and wholesome?
No, but I think a big part of this discussion is that this thing is being weaponized. You know, on some level, it's like, oh yeah, you're not accepting the full me. You know, like there's a big bunch of this like, wow, we're already becoming boomer, like the entitled younger gen coming into the
Wait,
workplace.
why must accept the full me?
No, like exactly. That's what we boomer, right?
Oh,
Say right. So it's a Gen Z thing coming
Okay.
into the workspace. Okay, I'm just gonna name it. Right? It's a Gen Z thing coming into the workspace, thinking that is this me? Why you must accept me for who I am, right? And sorry, I'm just channeling a bimbo, right? But it's a thing, right? Like
I'm going to throw in a millennial slang.
okay.
If you cannot accept me at my worst, you don't expect me as my best.
No, you don't deserve
No,
me
you don't
at my
deserve me
best.
it's a millennial
It
slang
was,
thing.
yeah, it was, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like this thing is getting weaponized. You know, people are coming to work thinking, and to be fair, it's not unique to the Gen Zs only, right? Because if a cultural group leads it, it bleeds into other people. So more and more people are feeling like, you know, if you cannot accept the full me, you are a problematic employer, right? You are a problematic workplace. Like you don't give me mental health break, right? You know, that kind of thing. Like it's a thing, you know. I don't know if you all feel like
I
it's
think
a
we need
thing.
to be a bit more self-conscious also lah. Like each of us need to understand what is the full us and what is the value we bring to the organization. Like if you are a high performer, you know, then of course
whatever you
lah.
want. Sleep at the
Yeah,
couch.
exactly.
Go for it.
Accept the full me because there is no substitute. You cannot be replaced.
But not consistent. Culturally, there's problem
Yes.
in the organization. Unless you hire all Selves and all like that.
Yeah, or you hire all
Yes,
sales people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Right. Then there's
Everybody's highly
cultural
motivated,
consistency.
self-driven, problem solved.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying Wise and Shine so far. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and for us to continue to do this show so that you become a tad bit wiser every week, you gotta like, share, subscribe, help us beat the algorithm. But even more importantly, if you can, comment in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and also some questions that you would love us to answer. Yeah, now back to the show.
Right.
But I mean, to be fair, right, I'm at this stage of life right now whereby in all my jobs or whoever I work with, right, I'm just very upfront. Even in my blog, right? I mean, the blog has been running for a decade already.
Wow.
So, like,
Auntie already.
yeah, there's a reputation that has been built up, right? And people know that I'm very selective. So,
It's true.
to clients back then, right, I was less daring in being able to reject. Now I'm a bit more upfront. When the company comes to me and asks why you reject this or why you're not keen, or they try to like, you know, entice me to take that I'm just very upfront, like it's not something I believe in. Yeah, back then I was just quiet lor. Don't reply, then act blur. Huh? You email me? don't ruin, don't burn the bridge, right? Keep it there. But now I'm just very upfront because I'm more like I've come to the stage in life whereby I'm like, if you want to work with budget, babe, you must know this is the package that you're getting.
Yes.
Yeah, it can get controversial. It is very transparent. I must show pros and cons like that. If you cannot accept, you don't want me to show the cons at all, you want everything to be positive, I'm sorry, I'm not the person that you're looking for.
Fair.
Yeah, and I'm more conscious. Same thing at work. I'm very upfront that I have 2 young kids. It's this stage of my life where as much as I have career aspirations, I know that these kids are going to inevitably affect my work. Because when they get sick, I just have to go and take care of them. I cannot just like, you know, prioritize my work and my client at all times. So when I have these conversations at work, it's also about, can you accept that? Yeah, of course, on my end, I'll make sure that, this is what I bring to the table. This is how I intend to manage it. And I'll put in things. So that's why, like, at my workplace, I negotiated for half-half, right? I'm on a part-time basis, but full-time KPI. Because that is the agreement that I said. I'll try, but I need time. I can be more efficient as a doer. But in terms of time, I cannot commit like what the fresh grad or someone with no kids can give you.
Yeah.
So in exchange, are you willing to give me this? And then of course the negotiation was, then we will prorate your pay lor. Okay, fine.
It's always,
I accept that.
As
There
long
are
as
going
you're
to be
fine.
trade-offs.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as I'm fine. But they do recognize then. So if I don't show up for certain meetings at certain times, or I suddenly disappear and I message, of course I message before I disappear, right? I say, sorry guys, I'm at
It's
I
not
have
an
to.
entitlement.
Yeah, correct.
You can't just disappear like that.
Correct. No, have to inform.
It's
Have to inform. And it's not that hard to inform. Just one short message, right?
Yeah.
Or you forget, then apologize. I'm so sorry I got caught up. But this is why. Yeah. So like I would make that very clear. And they understand because that expectation was communicated upfront. I think the problem lies in when people don't communicate the expectation.
No, but I think I understand what you're saying, right? Like you have a decade of experience here, you've gathered enough, capital in terms of influence, and also you're not as desperate, right? You've gotten to a certain level where it's like, okay, you want to work lah. I don't want to work, don't work, right? So it's kind of you're at that phase, right? And I think it's good to caution everybody that if you are not at that phase, please don't carry such ideas, right? It is not very it's not very realistic because I think recently I heard another interview with Jing Xing. I don't know if you know Jing Xing. Is this dancer, this like only trans dancer and celebrity in China, right? So and she has a very strong attitude, and she goes around shooting people and saying all sorts of things and blah 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 blah. And then one of the reporter asked her, right? So are you afraid because there are people copying you, right? Are you concerned that a lot of younger people are copying the way you talk and the way you do it, right? Is it causing social problems? And she was like, hello, all of you, please wake up. I've been at this for 30 years, right? So I've accumulated enough influence and capital and position, right? For 30 years, essentially what he said, JJ already tarik for 30 years, right? Then now I fire, so can you tahan 30 years, right? And I think there's a valid point in realizing where are you in the social ladder, where are you on your journey, where are you in a phase of life, right? To be fair, if a new person come in with not a lot of experience, give me all these criteria,
Cannot.
I'll say 下一位.
Yeah, cannot.
Right?
So I think that's why, right? People also need to recognize not just the value they have, but also the cost.
Yeah.
Because that's why just now I deliberately pointed out it's a prorated pay. I do have to take on some cost in exchange for this.
Yeah.
And I think I was going to say that that's actually the most important thing, right? If you want to bring your whole self to work, but you accept that there might be a trade-off to it, fair play, right? It becomes like a kind of a mutual understanding. Okay, fine. We give up something, you give up something.
Yes,
but
it's
if
a compromise.
you want to bring your whole self to work, but you say that, no, I need to be paid like everybody else, I deserve the same rewards as everybody else, then sorry, you're just entitled.
Like, hi Anthony, you hire me, but you must be understanding I may disappear because my kids need me, then don't show up for work.
Then the
But
other
you must pay
person
full price,
the other person works 16 hours a day, you must pay me the same as him, okay?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that's why, right? If you don't come with that kind of mutual understanding or that willingness to make that trade-off or accept that trade-off, then you're just entitled, right? So, I mean, I call myself a strawberry because I tell my boss I want to be paid, right? And I don't want to do so much work. But then again, you get other things, you get other benefits from me being there. So it is a trade-off. Right.
If I were to be 100% authentic, right, I would confess on this episode that I do have very high career aspirations, and a part of me is disappointed that I had to take the step back. I chose to for my kids.
It's temporary.
Yes, exactly. But that's what I tell myself also. So the key thing I remind myself is I chose to. Second, it's temporary. So I can eventually go back there, but I need to recognize and let everyone else I work with at this stage know that this is the compromise I need at this point in time. When my kids are older, don't need me to go and wipe their puput. Can.
We going there.
I think she's cringing. Sorry, that's parenthood. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, I get it. Right. So this whole discussion is all about expectations, right? Managing your expectations and your manager's expectations, right? As long as all these things are discussed upfront and both parties are agreeable to it, I feel that that's just fair game. But if if you're just first time showing up at work and say, I can promise you this, I can promise you the heaven and the earth, and then then you suddenly
I will
off.
drop this person
Yeah.
immediately.
And then suddenly your performance is lacking, you have some personal matters compared to your other colleagues, right, who are more steady, then you are someone who is always having excuses at work. It will definitely reflect very badly on yourself.
Exactly.
And your managers have to manage that. And ultimately, it comes to a point where you cannot be authentic anymore. Because this is just professionalism at work, whether you like it or not. It has to exist. So that's my stand. I feel that if you really want to bring yourself to work, your full self to work, you have to at least let your managers know what are the expectations first.
As a manager, I'll say no.
No, once expectations are there, both parties okay, then everything okay. That's my take.
One thing to add on about that is that people keep saying, you should accept me as my authentic self. I want to be authentic, right? But they ignore the second part, which is there are consequences to being authentic.
Oh yeah.
And that's where, like, like you said, when you are fresh, I don't want to
Or
do
especially if your
100.
authentic self isn't great to begin with.
Exactly.
Right? Because not everything, not authentic means good,
Yeah. No,
Self-awareness,
or
right?
perceive good, right?
Yeah.
Depends on where you take it. Like if an organization loves it that you are very hardworking, right? Like in their structure, in their cultural acceptance, right? That all the manager, all the seniors are all think like, we only want to promote the person that works damn hard, look like blood, sweat, tears type of person, right? Then I'm not that kind of person. Half the time I'm just like reading, hanging out with my friend Laliang, like at the park. And it's like, because that's where I get my creativity, right? That's I gotta have my space to do my thing. Will I flash that part in the office? Highly unlikely.
Unless
Right.
your boss also like that.
Yeah, so that's why there was a period of time there was a lot of sleeping rooms, sleeping pods in the office.
Correct. How come
Nobody sleep one.
How come we never hear about that anymore nowadays?
Nobody sleeps at the sleeping pod. Then,
It'll
then
come back.
some of my HR friends were like, hey, why nobody stay at a sleeping pod? I was like, you just go and get a manager, like your boss, your CEO, come down, sleep. A few months, try. Not every day, but enough. Then take photo, everything. Then people, hey, can sleep. Can sleep, right? So if the boss does not come down and he is just thinking that, or he or she is just thinking that, hey, because everybody wants, so I give it. I think culturally this thing is not fully accepted within the organization.
And
So
even if the boss goes down, right, then the other employees may be like, he boss, so he can, I cannot.
so then the next boss must come.
So I was going to say, because people use it at 2 a.m. when they are overnighting in the office, right? So HR person, of course, don't see that.
So different. But yes, it's true. The big four always like that. Yeah. Fair.
So I think at the heart of it, we've established that everyone is multifaceted. There's a place and time for everything. There's nothing wrong with bringing different parts of you to different workplaces or different areas of your life. And I love what you said. Sometimes authenticity, you must realize not the best. You are not your authentic self not very positive to begin with.
Yeah, you like it's a game, right? Then you just need to know how you want to play it. Right? I think that like it or hate it, whatever you do kind of creates an impression on people.
It does.
Right? So you want to manage that impression, right?
Yes.
You don't, even if that impression is I'm a very emotional, hot-headed person and therefore I want things my way and you scare everybody, right? That is the image you want to portray, and then you behave according to that way. Or you bring the facets of yourself that are that way, into that situation.
Let's end off on a fun note. Let's all name one authentic self-demonstration that we reviewed that we regretted. Must be at work, not in the family.
Family a lot, But
That's why family a lot, but no consequences in your family. Work got consequence, so that if there's something at work.
Ministry of Social and Family Services, just put their email.
No, but they bring a lot of joy. It's the moments that count.
Okay, the email come back already. So what is one thing at work that you regret sharing, being authentic?
Okay, I don't know if I regret this. I don't think I do. But I did once tell my boss, if I knew what you did, I'll be paid like you. But I'm not, so I'm going to do the work. Because she came to ask me and she said, why don't you know this already? And I'm like, well, you know this because you're paid like that. Are you paying me like that? No, right? So I don't know. But that was after a few all-nighters.
What did your boss react?
She was like, fair point. Okay. Then she walked away.
Fair point.
Yeah.
I don't have any episodes of this because I think I have this multifaceted personality over at work that I don't even have this kind of
So your
experience.
split personality.
Yeah, I would say it's a professional image, right?
Professional
image to put
yes.
it in a nice way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to bring my personal problems to work. And that is why they may not see the personal side of me, which I'm trying to create this barrier for myself.
Okay.
So you're saying there has never been a moment where you slipped up?
Yeah.
No.
Or you portray an image that you might not necessarily have wanted to portray. Right?
Actually, no.
So it's not really like personal. It's like also you're always on. Okay lah, that's why you're a YouTuber,
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
always on.
Yeah.
Always on. Got chance of burnout. Be careful.
Yeah. Something that has to be aware.
Okay, then you can think. You can
I
think,
think-
okay, then the answer comes out. Reggie, what about you?
I mean, although I went on the whole spiel on like you gotta be very sure about your image and all that, right? I think for a long period of time, I really brought my whole self to work, and it causes a lot of problems lah, in the sense of like people then question whether you actually can do it. But nowadays, right, when I don't appear so much, right, people are damn certain that I can do it, say, right? Because my output just shows for you. You don't need to care about what am I doing half the time. Right, you just need to know that the thing comes out, it works, the numbers are there, and it works. That's all that matters, right? So and I feel like that is a big part of being a bit more shrewd with being you lah. Because I think I'm a bit frontier on the mental health element of it. I was really way before everybody's talking about it, right? And I tried to bring my whole self to work, and it creates a hobo image lah, right? Relax, it's like chill lah. But actually, I'm still chilling. Right, but maybe I chill with a purpose lah, right? But I'm still chilling. Right? You just don't get to see it, right? And does it matter whether you get to see it, right? Which is also why within my team I don't really care about what they do in their personal lives, right? Until it spews into their personal life, until their professional work. Then I'm like, what's going on? Then I start to find out certain things, right? Then I'm like, do I really want to go into this? No, carpet put back now. It's a lot of work, right? So is that law, right? That's why I'm not a big proponent of bringing whole self to work. I think it's a great thing to have. It's a pipe dream, right? If you can find that intersectionality, right, where you can be yourself at work and everything, and people take you as who you are, great. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
And if you believe that the celebrities and the influencers are doing that, right, then fat hope,
Except this one and this one. And that one also.
But no, I don't think they are. None of them are.
Yeah. I think so my regret, right? In my earlier years as a manager, I didn't really have the experience building up lah. So you make a lot of like first timer mistakes, right? So one thing I did was I was very open with them. When they asked me about my personal life and everything, I will openly share. And that's why I think authenticity has consequences, right? And the consequences that happened affected me as a manager in the sense of what I was doing for the company. Because to be more explicit, I'm the kind of person whereby I don't care how much time you spend. If you're efficient, great. Go and take the remaining time to go and do your own things. Yeah. If you're not efficient, you need more time, then let me know. But then we'll have to question why you need so much when others need less. Then we try to, bring that back to the medium point. But when I communicated this expectation and I communicated this point of view to the people I was managing, they abused it. They never show up. Because I say, I don't need you to be on the ball the whole time, answer me within 1 second. But I also don't expect you to disappear for hours and I don't know what you're doing lah. Okay, so I won't micromanage you, but you need to be accountable for your own work. So what happened was that over the weeks, the quality of the work and the amount of work became lesser. The efficiency kept dropping. And for a moment I was questioning it and I was like, maybe is it the work getting too hard? Or are they abusing it? And the part of me was like, no lah, I shouldn't judge them, give chance. But in the end, reality showed they really were just abusing it. Why they weren't responding, why the quality of work was dropping, because I wasn't monitoring them and I told them I don't need to, I trust you, right? So they went off and did their own things. And that compromised the work that they brought to the table. So that then eventually affected my own performance review as a manager because they were questioning, we're paying so much for this subordinate, but they're not contributing. What has that translated into? And in the end, but then I kept standing up for them, I was like, no lah, maybe they got the. And in the end, for one case, the higher up decided, no, we're just gonna fire this person. Yeah, I couldn't speak more anymore. So they're like, okay. And you know what? And then obviously as a manager, I'm tasked to deliver the news, right? I think that person sensed it. he resigned and he said, I quit before I could even say we fired you. Yeah, and same for the other one. The other one, she resigned in due time. Yeah, so that really made me realize that even as managers, not just say as a subordinate, should you bring your 100% authentic self to the workplace, but even as managers, we also cannot be 100% authentic all the time because we don't know how the subordinates or how the higher up we are managing both, right? How they will perceive it. Some may abuse it, some don't. So I think that's where the trust and the open communication is important. But we cannot expect to have that established upfront.
Of course, trust is a data point collection process. I must collect enough data point to know that you will be like that.
Yes.
Right, but
And
anyway,
you must prove it also over
Trust is
time.
earned, not given.
Yeah.
Exactly. And at the end of my mistake, I
yeah.
give first, right? Then I realize they were just
Just
abusing
the wrong
it.
employees.
Yeah. It is what it is. But I think at the end, I agree
I
with
thought
what.
of a story.
Yes, please go.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was one episode, right, whereby another full-time employee left and I was tasked to take on half of her responsibilities. Back at that time, I think I was 3 years experience in the company. So my true self would say that do more work, get more pay.
Yeah.
Which is what I communicated. Say, I'm doing 50% of the other full-time employees' work. I'm expected a significant pay increase. I did not say 50%. So
55 would be great.
100.
yeah, so what I gotten back was that this was a chance for you to perform. You know, all the
corporate speak.
all the corporate things, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
as a
corporate
third year employee, I probably didn't know as much. I think, okay, this is the time for me to perform. Maybe I'm on track to become the next best performing employee.
But actually, you didn't realize that was the best time to negotiate because the company was in a flimsy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so now that I'm more seasoned in this kind of corporate thing, then I may not have done sit there and do nothing. I will go back to my authentic self and say, I'm not going to accept these terms. Either I don't take up the work or you give the pay or I leave for a new company. This is what I would have done differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar experience. I also communicated that to my manager. Yeah, but my story has a happy ending.
Oh.
So my manager didn't give me that. And again, corporate speak came in. But after my manager left, her manager gave me the increase. Yeah, because by then I had really proven my worth.
Fair. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, the established idea here is it is all a performance.
Yes.
It's a performance review and you gotta perform well. So okay, yeah, that's it for today. Right? Yeah, if you have any comments, drop in the comment section. Any questions, ask us so that we have more ideas to know what to pursue.
Are you on team 100% authentic or no? Let us know in the comments.